Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Rotary Unplugged. I'm Craig Clark, one of the hosts, along with J.R. Muller. We welcome you to another episode of Getting to Know a Fellow Rotarian. If you're an avid follower, as we are talking offline, usually in a car in between meetings or traveling to work, you kind of know the process here. We get to know the person and then get to know their Rotary story. And today, our guest is very prepared to talk about his Rotary story, including talking points that he sent me. Matt Hogg. Welcome, Matt. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Yeah, I was a Boy Scout, so I was always taught to be prepared. It's the Boy Scout motto. So,
Right on. Well, and I'm a PR guy, so I'm always preparing talking points for my
yeah.
spokespeople. So when I got that, I was like, kudos, well done.
Well, I'm
So,
not gonna lie, Chat GPT is amazing. So I just, it knows a lot about me already. So I just ask you, hey, what are some good talking points? And then just edit them from there. So,
so what you sent
we had a
me,
great AI talk at Rotary, and after that, I really kind of grabbed that bull by the horns. So I'm gonna
I
keep
have
running.
not really adapted to that yet.
Yeah.
I
Oh, I'm
appreciate
glad
it.
it's
I just
listening.
haven't.
I love it. I mean, it can take your ideas and just, I mean, you could probably do an entire podcast on AI, so we won't go down that rabbit hole. But let me tell you, it's fun and it just gives you some good ideas, and you can take something that you've created and just be like, oh, I didn't think about that part. So that's what I really like about it. It's really helped me, personally, and I would say professionally too. Yeah,
Little inspiration to kind of tighten up something.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah, man, yeah.
All right. Well, I've got them in front of me, so hopefully you read what ChatGPT said for you to talk about. We'll get into that in a minute. As I said,
All right.
we definitely spend time getting to know the Rotary story, but there's a lot of new members in Rotary, and sometimes as we go to luncheons or at events, we kind of run with the same circles. So we like to peel back the layers, if you will, a little bit on getting to know the person. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you from West Michigan? What's your kind of background?
No, yeah, love that. I was actually going to do the monologue from Austin Powers that Dr. Evil does, but to make it more exciting, but I think we'll skip that one. So
We'll have
actually,
you
my
back for
parents are
that
from
another
Southern
time.
Illinois, so I was actually
Hmm.
born in Alton. If you don't know where that is, just go to St. Louis, Missouri, and then go across the river. But
I have relatives in Newton, Illinois.
okay, excellent. Yeah. Yeah. So both of my parents are from rural side of Illinois that I always call it junior Kentucky because everybody down there's got to kind of got that Kentucky accent, and Kentucky's like 45 minutes away south.
Yeah.
So I was born down there and I moved to Michigan when I was about 3 years old. So can't call myself a native, but I'm definitely a Michiganian. Lived on the east side of the state. My dad went to preaching school. And so we lived in Flint, and then we were in Dearborn and Detroit. And my parents decided they didn't want to raise kids in inner city Detroit in the 80s, oddly enough.
Hmm.
Um, and we moved to Ludington and
Sure.
when I was 7, and it was incredible for me. I mean, I love Ludington. I mean, most people when you say Ludington, they talk about the state park. But I'd only been in big cities and it and really grew this love of the outdoors. And this is super dorky, but I remember the first time we lived south of town, so we didn't live in like Ludington proper. We lived in between Pittwater and Ludington, and it was a highway at the time, but now it's a bigger one. But we had all these fruit trees by us, right? So orchards all around us and the woods behind me. But being a city kid, I was like, man alive, this is, I mean, Great Plains, man. I'm doing the Oregon Trail. It's huge. I can get lost. I remember walking behind my house, touching the forest, and then running back home because thinking I was going to get lost. Now, in retrospect, this is maybe 100 yards from my house. So,
Okay.
but
Oh,
it just fostered this love of the outdoors and
yeah.
exploration that I've carried into adulthood. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so after I graduated from high school there, um, I didn't quite know what I wanted to do, so I just went into West Shore Community College, to CC up there, got my
Mhm.
associates. Kind of took a year off, kind of being a vagabond. I got into rock climbing, so I kind of traveled around and I did rock climbing, ice climbing, got into mountaineering. So that was like my gig. I kind of did the van life before the van life was a thing.
Nice.
Yeah, I had a mid '80s Toyota Previa van that had no heat, and I had to tape the window up. I think I bought it for 300 bucks,
Love
but I
it.
put that thing all over, so it was great. And it had no rear seat, so people would come and hang out with me. They'd drive over and they would have to just sit on the floor, so it was just super safe. But
That's like out of a
it was fun. I
movie.
had a blast, and then I realized that while I was on that adventure, I was having a good time, right? I was doing something I loved. I was really exploring, and my passion for climbing just kept growing. But
Yeah.
I knew that, I can't do this forever. So I
Right.
probably should go get a degree. I'd already been accepted to Michigan State. So I just went to Michigan State, Uh,
Go green.
got a history, yeah, go white man. Got a history degree. Got into teaching, taught for a few years in inner city Lansing at a
Mm,
charter school. I taught Montessori 4, 5, 6, and then that school closed down, unfortunately.
mm.
The charter school just didn't last, and it was an issue, I think, during that time. That was when we were really having like a Michigan was working with teachers and it was hard to find a teaching job. So
Yeah.
once that school closed down, I was really struggling to find another job, and it was like either move to Tennessee or switch careers. Um, and I started out as a Cub Scout when I first moved to Ludington in '85.
Okay.
And I'd been scouting my entire life. Actually, this is my 40th year in scouting.
Wow.
Been nonstop. Yeah. So in September, it'll be 40 years. Um, so my boss, because I worked at a summer camp from the time I was 16, and I kept just working through college and everything like that. And I was the program director there, basically said, hey, why don't you just interview with me? You're a great worker in the summer. I really love your ideas and your thoughts and your work process. So I was like, yeah, I'll just do this Boy Scout thing professionally until I can find, another teaching gig. Did that for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I loved every minute of it. Like with any job, you got its trials and tribulations, and
Yeah.
you know, I just love working with the volunteers. I love people. I love listening to the stories. I love seeing what drives people. And I
Mhm.
really found that the volunteers in scouting, like the people I've met in Rotary, are just stellar people. I mean, people that are, they're giving their weekends, they're giving a week in the summer to take kids
Oh,
to camp and go camping all the time.
yeah.
And I'm not just talking when it's nice. I mean, we're camping in
Right.
the middle of the winter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the coldest camp that I took a group on was like 12 below. And so it was a lot of fun, but I mean, we learned stuff and just a good challenge, good life stories.
Mhm.
So I worked for the Boy Scouts professionally for 15 years. Decided it was time for a career change, and I'd always loved finance. I've been investing since I was 16. I had a lawn mowing business when I was a kid, and I just kept making money. And my dad one time's like, "You need to do a Roth. You get too much money. Do something, start
Nice.
retirement." So I did a
Oh,
Roth
what great
IRA.
counsel at a young age, right?
Uh,
What great counsel at a young
Yeah,
age.
yeah. And my parents had just started. It wasn't like they were like big in investing or anything like that. My dad had been a
Yeah.
preacher, and then he actually started working for the Boy Scouts when I was 16. And so finally, I mean, he was a poor country preacher. I mean, we're talking like church on the corner of like, a dirt road and a dirt road almost.
I see.
Uh, but once he was, started working with the Boy Scouts, and my mom went back to work because my brothers were in school and everything like that. They started making money and started investing. And so he just encouraged me to do that at that age. And
Nice.
most people don't know this, but you can use a Roth for college education. So I used most of my Roth to pay for my college because I paid for most of it out of pocket. Um, and
Oh, good
so
for you.
that started kind of my journey to being a financial advisor. Like I said, started when I was 16, but didn't really make the transition to that as a profession until I was 40. So a little over 6 years ago now. So that's been a great transition. The guy that hired me at Raymond James, where I first started, Kevin Clark was an amazing guy. I mean, he just built an
Mhm.
amazing practice, but just has a great heart, loves to educate, but does it with like humor and fun and direction that is just something that was helpful for me and really helped me excel. And then Kevin went and started his own firm, and then I was their first hire outside of the people that initially started it, just because they wanted to grow that practice. So I've been blessed to meet great people
Yeah.
and work with amazing people too, as volunteers, professionally, and that's just something I don't know how I got so blessed,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I mean it's fun. It's fun. Yeah.
You've really married your passions, pursuing the outdoors and then understanding and benefiting from, financial literacy. That's that's really, for as a parent of teens, right? You're kind of looking for them to kind of see themselves the way we see them. Like, here's the thing that you're good at, pursue that. It looks like you definitely follow that. So,
Yeah,
and it
definitely.
sounds
I
like
have two
outdoors.
daughters. I have two
Sorry.
daughters, and yeah, trying to get them to learn how to save. Yeah, my oldest one is definitely a saver. My youngest one is definitely not a saver. So trying to get that, hey, you don't have to spend it all. So
Savings.
yeah, yeah. So
Understand
I
the
actually
word.
made them open brokerage accounts so that they can actually start kind of saving for themselves. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then let them make it a game, right? That's what I tell when people are working with kids when it comes to like young investors, make it a game, let them invest
Yeah.
something kind of fun for them. Maybe it doesn't make the most sense.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Well, and
know,
even just so I could start young.
if it's something they like, then you'd be like, hey, why don't you just buy some of that? You can be an owner of that company. And they're like, oh,
Yeah, right,
do that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, what I was getting at, you've really kind of married your passions and a lot of your youth and even into adulthood. Outdoors seems to be, and working with your hands seems to be quite a passion. Now, you said that you were doing the van life for a while before it was kind of a thing, and
Mhm.
climbing was important. You in one of your, and if you're a follower of the podcast, we ask our guests for 5 unique things. You had said that you have a goal of climbing to the highest point in every state. Like, how many have you hit?
Last count I was at 27. So, and I've had some pretty unique ones. I mean, some are lame, right? I mean, no offense to anybody down in Florida, but Florida's like on the side of the road. I mean, there's not a whole lot of elevation
No
there.
climbing, just
Yeah, but
walking
you
and
still get to go
driving.
to unique places because they're always out of the way, right? Like when I did the high point in Maryland, I had to drive into West Virginia, backtrack up a two track into Maryland, and climb up a little scramble up there. But they're all fun, and some of them we
Yeah,
make a challenge. I mean, the first time I ever climbed, I would say a significant mountain was in New Hampshire, and most people don't think, oh, well, those
yeah.
are huge, but I did it on New Year's. Well, I attempted that one on New Year's Day. It's Mount Washington, which is known for the worst weather in the world. And when we were up there, it was actually with the wind chill. They said it was 72 below zero.
Oh my
So it was like
word.
negative 20 something, and we had 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So with that combination, it was like
Jeez.
negative 70 plus. So, but I had a blast. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I was young and dumb. I was in my early 20s. So it was one of those times where you're just like, the wind is just pushing you crazy. I mean, you walk at an angle, and then when the wind stops for a second, you just fall over because it's
Oh,
holding you up. And as soon as you gets up, the wind hits you, you fall back over, get back up, and then start going. Another couple hundred yards, so you rinse, wash, and repeat. That day just got wicked, and we probably got about a mile and a half from the summit. And then we like, the joke always in mountaineering is like live to die another day. So we're like, okay, this one, the weather's just getting too mean. So we turned around, went down, took a rest day, and then we did it a couple of days later when it was just a balmy, negative like 60 something. So,
what an
but
adventure. Good for
it's
you.
one of my favorite climbing memories, and it's not like a super technical mountain, but it was just so mean and crazy that I've never experienced anything like that in my since. So it's just fun. But it's one of my favorite climbing memories. And I get to
So, I
climb
mean,
with a group of guys that I met through scouting. And
oh,
so
fun.
our group was called Five Eagles and a Marmot. So there's five Eagle Scouts, and my dad's not an Eagle Scout. So we call him a Marmot. If you know what that is, it's like a big mountain rat. So
Yeah. All right. I love it.
yeah.
So, do you have a plan? Like, how do you know when you're going to climb the highest point of what state? Or is it just figure?
I kind of get them as I go.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, I've kind of taken a backseat on those last few years as my kids were, growing up.
sure.
Now that
Yeah,
they're, starting in the middle school, high school, I'm putting that more at the forefront of something I'd like to accomplish. I mean, one, I'm not getting any younger, and some of these peaks require some pretty good physical stress. Not that I'm, walking, or I can't climb
right.
up there, but I just know at some point my body's gonna be like, all right, you beat it up enough.
You
You
should save all
probably
the
can't
easy
do
ones
something.
for later in life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I got some pretty technical ones that I need to do still. Montana has actually kicked me off twice, so I've attempted that one twice, and the weather just got crazy with an
Wow.
ice storm both times, and so I just uh, no luck on that one. And that's why I said we always joke, live to die another day, man. I mean, you just can't make it. I mean, you don't want to kill yourself, but you still are going to push that envelope a little bit.
Yeah.
But we always have whenever I've climbed with the guys, I mean, make a decision, turn around, you know we always talk about it, and even if one person wants to turn around, we're all in agreement. All right, let's do
Yeah,
this. And
yeah.
we're disappointed, but we know to be there the next day. It's not going over.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of the journey, right? It's part of the
yeah, yeah.
experience.
But my goal is to save Denali for last. Going to do second to last. I would like to climb Denali because that's about a 3 to 4 week endeavor. And
Wow.
then as soon as I get off that mountain, I want to fly straight to Hawaii, thaw out, and then do the high point of Hawaii. So
Good for you.
yeah, that's
Now
kind of
that's a
my goal.
journey.
So that'd be probably about a month-long journey there. But that's why I said I just gotta, find the time to do that, and then yeah,
And then within there, you're finding a lot of time to be involved with Rotary. Tell us
yeah.
about how did you get involved with Rotary?
So I will freely admit it was just plain selfish. I wanted to get to meet people when I worked for the
Mhm.
Boy Scouts,
Mm.
because I had a big fundraising goal. So I was like, well,
Yeah.
Rotarians are people,
Right.
and are business owners. They have money. They're people that give back to the community. And I happened to get really lucky, and I met Bill Rediker, who was on our board of the Boy Scouts, and I joined the Grand Haven Club. And that was
Mm.
in the mid 2000s. So I did that for about 7, 8 years, and then when I got a couple promotions in the Boy Scouts, that didn't really have me running around in the field as much as far as like meeting volunteers and
Hmm.
managing a geographic area. So I kind of dropped my membership. But then when I switched to financial advising, I knew that um, I liked the people because they gave back. They truly cared about their community. Like I said, I selfishly got in it just to help me reach my fundraising goals because I knew
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
are the type of people that help out community. But what I found out there is that they are people that help the community and they will give the shirts off their back to help people out. I mean, just the
Right.
salt of the earth type people that are one, not just excelling as Rotarians, but they're excelling in their duties as parents, as spouses, partners,
Right.
I mean, they're doing well in their businesses. So that they became people I looked up to as well. I mean, as I've, you know, continued to progress in my career, and I just see people like, I really love the attribute that this person has. The
Yeah.
fact that they, don't stop, that they always get back, that they're always in there. And I love to hear those stories and just what they're doing. And I mean, we have every Rotary Club I've ever been to, there's just incredible people there with incredible stories doing incredible things. And that's
Yeah.
what I love about Rotary. And I will
Yeah.
tell you, the thing I love about our club
Yeah.
is that we've made this effort just to bring people from all walks of life together. I
Hmm.
mean, no offense to the old white guys in the club, and I'm looking like one of those. I think Rotary used to have that, maybe still does in some areas, like it was an old white dudes club. And I love that our Rotary Club has been, making sure that we've got people of different genders, different races, I mean, we've even worked on the socioeconomic part now with some amazing stuff that Matt Tidgen's done on our membership.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that we are thinking out and how do we include everybody so it doesn't have that old stigma I think that Rotary used to have. And
But the
we're
common denominator being community, right? Everybody is focused on being part of their community and contributing in some way. So, you know, age, skin color, that doesn't really matter, right? It's that where your heart is.
yeah, yeah, agreed.
Yeah, and I think too, looking at in my little over a year being involved, just the age mix for sure. I had my stereotype of what it was, and I do, I've been in Grand Rapids long enough to remember what a lot of the clubs were, right? And
Mm,
you can look at some of the other clubs in town, and there's diversity. I think that's great. That's just such a Grand Rapids, West Michigan, get involved thing. But it just feels to me like with Rotary, we're really intentional investing in the next generation and helping, whether that's in the Strive or just some of the youngers. Do you have other um, commitments that work with other youth outside of Rotary, like junior
definitely. So
achievement
I
or
mean, that's kind of a passion project for
yeah?
me. Again, I was blessed as a kid. I mean, not just through scouting, but I did 4-H.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I was in sports, and I just happened to have fantastic adults that really gave me some guidance and direction in life. I mean, some of those people that I've known back in the day. My old scoutmaster, who's in his mid 80s now, Dick Bowes up in Ludington. He's a guy that's still involved with scouting, and I see him at summer camp from time to time when I take my own troop because I have a troop of girls because I was blessed with daughters. So luckily, Boy Scouts kind of went co-ed about probably around 15 years ago now. They started that, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
So I got lucky that my daughter didn't. She looked at Girl Scouts and she said that wasn't her thing. So
Hmm.
when scouting was co-ed, I said, "How about this?" And she got excited about it, and we have a great group of girls. We went caving about a month ago, and then we did a canoe and pack this last weekend. So they're out pretty active. The other thing I love to do too is I do junior achievement. So I do that within my daughter's schools. They go to Comstock Park, and I've done junior achievement now for 4 years. And I
Hmm.
just teach. If you're not familiar with it, I teach financial literacy. So it's on a business acumen, right? But
Yeah.
they make it easy because they give you a book and it tells you everything you got to do. But what you're teaching is like how does a local economy work? I mean, that's one of the things that I did this year along with entrepreneurship. So it's just cool how the curriculum builds. So I've been doing that third, fourth, and fifth grades for the last 4 years with my first daughter, now my youngest. And it's something I think I'm going to continue to do because one, it's fun,
Yeah.
but two, helping people make smart financial decisions. I mean, not just professionally, it's a passion of mine. I mean, I
Hmm.
love helping people see, where their goals are and how to reach them. And then what I love about junior achievement is you have kids that, maybe have these ideas, but they don't know how to implement them. I don't think it was something that we were ever taught in school. And no offense to the school system, it's just
Yeah,
that's not
yeah.
part of the curriculum, right? And so the
Hmm.
fact that I can go into junior achievement and say, hey, if you want to start a business from start to finish, here's what you do. And it's not just, hey, it's easy just to do this. Some of the tasks that we do in junior achievement are actually designed so that they can see that a business could fail, or hey, it's not just all income.
Yeah, right, right.
There's expenses in there, and especially if you first start a business, it can be really hard until you get established and growing. And I just love being able to teach um, kids that. So Scouting America is a big one for me,
Yeah.
and so is junior achievement. Yeah.
What,
Anyway,
excuse me, what other committees are you involved with Rotary?
so I'm a board member. Um, I'm one of those people that if I'm going to be a part of something, I need to be active. But membership's always been a passion of mine, and I was really, man,
Okay.
I'm going to go back scouting again. When I worked for Scouting America, formerly Boy Scouts, I was really good at membership, so I could go in and I love bringing families in and telling the story of why it was important to be involved. And I really found that helping people get involved and plugged in is what really made me shine, right? And so I've found that I want to do that with Rotary. As new Rotarians join, one of my big passions is how do we get them plugged in to Rotary so they can see how big and impactful it can be? Because Rotary, you can be, locally focused if you want to work on Interact, or I mean, or do something as simple as one of our, our water, builds when we
Yeah.
build water filters or build a ramp, with David. But if you want to get involved in a bigger level too, I mean, we have polio eradication that we've
Hmm.
been working on for decades. I mean, one of my favorite memories in Rotary is I helped with a fundraiser on the district level where we jumped out of an airplane and raised money
Oh,
to help people
yes.
get to raise money for polio vaccines so we could get them out there. It was Jump for Polio. I never jumped out of an airplane before, and I'm like, hey, if I get to do it for a good cause, why not? And it was fantastic. We had so many Rotarians out there. Paula Jastafar and her daughter jumped out with me, so it was kind of fun just to see other Rotarians that were there.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
Right. All
just being
stuff.
involved. So membership's the big one. Is I'm also on the membership committee because
Yeah.
I'm passionate about that, but helping get people involved. I started an ambassador group within there that works a little bit that helps get our newer Rotarians partnered with somebody that has been a Rotarian to help them get established and kind of
Oh,
plugged in.
nice.
And then the other thing that we're implementing soon, we just passed this on the board, probably not many people know about this, is if you ever notice as a new member, you got a new member sticker on
Uh,
there. And a lot of people are like, how the heck do I get rid of this? And somebody's like, oh, we just remove it after 12 months. I'm like, well, let's make this more active. If you want to get rid of that new member thing in like a month or two, so we have a new member sticker removal program that we're going to make it a bigger deal. And that's just, it's being an active Rotarian. It's seeing what's out there.
I had to be
One
a
of our
greeter.
many, huh?
I had to be a greeter like the first,
Yeah.
maybe second meeting I went to, and I loved it.
Yeah. Well, and
And
that's
then I
part
had
of
to
that.
read
We want
names to
people to
guests.
attend. Yeah, we want people to attend meetings, be a greeter as part of that. Visit go do one of our community service type aspects, invite a friend, go to a Club 77. I mean, that's one of my favorite
Yeah.
things about this club is the first time I visited this club is I went to Club 77. I reached out to the former executive director. I said, hey, I'm interested in joining. And she's like, well, you should come to Club 77.
Hmm.
And it was the the Meyer downtown was hosting it, and they had it at One Bourbon, so you could upstairs in there. So it was like any
Oh,
bourbon,
yeah,
if
yeah.
any. I mean, it's One Bourbon. If you like Scotch or whiskeys, they get some of the best drinks in town. So the fact that Meyer was covering it, couldn't complain. So, but I got to meet some great people too.
So as we kind of wrap up here, your thoughts on kind of where Rotary's going? We've talked about obviously a lot of changes in the past. Where do you see it going in the future that you're encouraged or excited about?
So again, I'm going to go back to that part where we're have this big effort to make sure that our club is bringing a younger, more diverse group
Mhm.
in, right? I mean, if I remember right, I mean, feel free to correct me in the comments, guys. But Rotary, like summer, I don't think Rotary even allowed women until the 80s, which is mind-boggling for me, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like we're a little bit behind the eight ball there, but I love the fact that we are making this concerted effort because to me, that's the future, right? We need that younger generation. We need them to understand why Rotary is important. And even if it's not Rotary, just by giving back and being an active part of
Right.
your community is important. And I
Hmm.
think finding the people that have been doing that for a while and helping learn how to get plugged in is great. I've asked several people, and Michael Seitzman was one of the guys that I had lunch with him probably within my first couple of years of joining, and I just said, hey, I'd love to get plugged in. What can I do? And he's like, I'm your guy. So
Yeah.
Michael knows everybody, so he got me plugged in a couple spots and kind of gave me some direction. And I think we have those people that if you just ask, they're going to help you find a spot. If it's in Rotary, if it's somewhere else that you have a passion project, Rotary connects, Rotary builds, and
Yeah.
then that's what I see our club doing. And I hope we can take what we're doing with our club and help some of these other clubs that are struggling to grow and build and things. Say, hey, look what we've done. A lot of people have seen our Club 77 going, oh yeah, that's great. I mean, it's more of a social hour than sitting down and eating lunch. I mean, nothing
Yeah.
against lunch. I love listening. We have
Sure.
great speakers, but you only get about 10 minutes to talk to some people and catch up. You're eating lunch and then you're listening to a speaker and then we got to go back to work, right? Club 77 is great because it's in the evening. You get to catch up and see how people are doing and, just see how their lives are. And that's what I love about that. Um,
Yeah. Community, right? It's
yeah,
just
exactly.
another way. Well, Matt, you sure are actively involved in so many things. We're lucky to have you as a Rotarian, so thank you for all your service and for spending time with us today. I mean, there's probably a hill to have climbed in the state, and you chose to record a podcast with us. So we appreciate that very much.
Yeah, thanks. I was going to try to head to Illinois, so I'm going to let you try that one like 3 or 4 times a week to some private property. So, I skipped that to come hang out with you guys.
Hey, how about you, JR? What's the highest point you've climbed in the state? Or you
Sleeping Bear Dunes. That'd be it.
is
So
that the highest point in the state?
I don't know. I
You
just
don't know. We don't
I made
know.
No,
it up top of the
Arvon is
dunes at
Michigan. That's in
55.
the
I was
UP.
right.
Yeah,
That's up in the
yeah.
UP.
Sleeping
That's
Dunes is, I mean, it's a good climb, but
yeah.
yeah, Mount Arvon's over by Marquette.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to kind of take some 2 tracks back there to get to it.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know that I'm going to get there either. So,
but it's roadside, so as long as you can drive there, it's easy. I mean, it's like you park and
okay.
then walk,
It
50
seems
feet.
like a lot of work. I'm just saying. It seems like a
Well,
lot
you
of
get to
work.
see a beautiful part of the UP. I
I
mean,
like a good
it's
challenge,
great.
but I got a lot to lift, so I'm not really climbing anything. So out of my chair, maybe. That's about
It's
it.
managed
All
risk.
right.
That's what I tell people, managed risk.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Well, hey, thank you again for doing the podcast here today. For all of you out there, you know this probably already. You can find this podcast and all the podcasts at grrotary.org. Just click the unplugged link at the top, or you can open up your Apple Podcast app and just do a search for Grand Rapids Rotary Unplugged, and you'll find us right there. Get subscribed today. Thanks again for your time today, Matt.
My pleasure. Thank you for having
Appreciate it.
me.